I don't know about y'all. I can't come to Daytona. I can't even stand up here and watch these cars come off of turn 4. My heart is pounding out of my chest. And butterflies, I got butterflies like I'm driving. My hands are sweating. Look at Larry. He's sitting on a hot stove with sweat and ice water.
Watch the pace car. That Corvette makes the hard left turn. It's on pit road. We're 1,000 feet from getting this show on the road.
DW, I've been waiting 7 months. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
The Busch Clash, the Budweiser Shootout, the Sprint Unlimited, and now back full circle with the Busch Clash again. This race is the appetizer for Speedweeks, the initial sound of the engines revved up and laps being turned at Daytona International Speedway. Since 1979, this classic has produced a number of thrilling moments and woken up NASCAR fans out of hibernation out of a long, cold off-season and re-energizing the community into the upcoming season to follow. It all started with a man named Monty Roberts. The brand manager of Busch Beer created this concept to promote his brand and give an exhibition to kick off Speedweeks. It gave radio and TV markets extra exposure and ratings, and really all parties were satisfied. The drivers would arrive at the facility earlier and give fans more opportunities to engage in all the festivities the track had to offer, and it's been going ever since. Let's look back on some of the moments that stand out to give an understanding of how important this race is. In 1984, Ricky Rudd was spun off the track out of turn 4 and got in a violent crash, flipping several times and battering him pretty badly. His eyes became swollen shut, and there was talk of him possibly not being in condition to continue the rest of Speedweeks. But the blue-collar, tough-as-nails nature of these drivers back then led to him to taping his eyes open and soldiering on, finding a way to deal with his injuries and driving through the pain and inconvenience. He was called Iron Man for a reason. In 1998, Jeff Gordon, coming off his second championship, looked to be on his way to picking up right where he left off, broke a gear on a late restart, and Rusty Wallace would go on to steal the victory. In 2003, the race will be held under the lights for the first time, giving a whole different vibe and more electric atmosphere to the event. Fan favorite and restrictor plate titan Dale Earnhardt Jr. would win from last place starting spot. 2006 saw Denny Hamlin, a rookie at the time, getting in by virtue of an honor point scenario, shock everybody and get the win in the first green-white checkered finish in the event, one that I vividly remember. 2012 saw a crazy photo finish between two of the sport's finest.
White flag. 1 lap to go, and Busch pushes Stewart to the lead. Ambrose tucks in third.
That 18 car has got to be a mess.
Now, what do?
But that man wheeling it, he don't care. And this is where you see your two-car tandem right here.
Remember, he'll try to beat you when he gets over here.
You know who that was? That's Steve Addington.
Who used to be Kyle's crew chief and is now Tony's crew chief.
He will try to beat you.
1 mile to the finish line of the Budweiser Shootout. Tony Stewart or Kyle Busch, who's going to win it?
I don't know if Kyle's got it. Remember what happened the last time these two were coming to a start-finish line back in the July race?
Smoke versus Wild Thing to the line.
He got him! He got him!
Wild Thing wins!
He got him! I ain't believing it.
He timed it absolutely perfect.
I ain't believing it.
2019 saw an absolute massacre and bizarre finish.
That's working really well. Oh, Jimmy gonna take.
Oh, no, Jimmy!
Contact.
And around goes Menard into the wall. Taking cars with him.
Clear, all clear.
Big wreck.
You got it.
There is your winner of the Clash of 2019. Due to the heavy rain, the race has been called. It's official. Jimmy Johnson is your winner.
And finally, 2020 saw the biggest joke, farce, eyesore, nightmare, whatever you want to call it, you could ever imagine. So over the last few years, it's lost its steam in a rather ominous fashion, and I'm not happy about it one bit. I've always been sentimental and fond of this event since I can remember. It showcases the best talent in the Cup Series and gives everyone something to chew on until the dual races and eventually the Daytona 500. It gives the drivers the feel of the track and how their car is probably going to act on top of that. It's a win-win for the whole crowd. This used to consist of strictly the pole winners of the previous year and nothing more. But over time it's grown into champions provisionals, former winners of the event, former Daytona 500 pole winners to let certain drivers in, and now the entire playoff field from the previous year all on top of that. It's basically all the relevant drivers with just the underfunded ones left out, all but ridding it of its original identity. This has severely hurt the product of this race, and another issue, the laps have swelled unnecessarily. It seems to me like NASCAR has taken on the obligation of having to include anybody and everybody in this race for it to survive, and that isn't the case. The true fans of the series will tune into an event regardless of who it consists of. Cup racing is cup racing. Daytona is Daytona. It will never fail in the entertainment aspect. It's something that's become overthought. It was meant to be a shootout style event with select personalities and the best of the series, and has turned into essentially a short test session for the 500, which has lessened the value of it. Several advocates, including Dale Earnhardt Jr. himself, have been stressing to NASCAR to return this race back to its origin and go back to pole winners only from the previous year and shorten the event to roughly 30 to 35 laps. Keep it on the same day as single car qualifying for the Daytona 500, and you've got a day's worth of action for the fans that attend and watch at home. To me, it's that simple. And if a big name established driver were to miss out, so be it. It should motivate them to get a pole for next year's event. My favorite childhood driver, Casey Kane, missed this event a time or two, and I wasn't the least bit turned off. The nature of this free-for-all race is too much to pass up. There's no reason not to give this gym its glory back, and moving it to the road course layout is a desperate and even more ludicrous idea. The sanctioning body quickly noticed this and expanded the field even more by adding more criteria into qualifying for it. In my opinion, it'll be nearly unwatchable. To keep the motivation factor in play, why not make the winning purse richer and a guaranteed spot in the race for next year? Anything to restore relevance to it. Give a bonus to the pit crew, maybe add a mandatory 2 or 4 tire pit stop to add a little drama, and please, keep it on the oval, for everyone's sake. But most importantly, keep the race on the schedule and bring it back to life. There's nothing like starting off the grind and pressure of Speedweeks leading up to the series' biggest event with an old school, beating and banging, no holding back exhibition to get the fans' blood pumping for the grueling racing season. When Dale Jr. speaks, NASCAR better listen. I think this man knows what he's talking about when it comes to the sport. To me, this event beats any other preseason of any sort in America, but it's trending in the wrong direction. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to right the ship either. What's your ideas on how to get the Busch Clash back to relevancy? Leave them in the comment section, and I'm always open for debate and discussion. And be sure to like and subscribe like your life depends on it. My name is Ryan, and this has been a Platinum Paradise video.